Hey, it's me, Marky Joe, here to entertain you. Yes, it is my show. It exists. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it.
Yeah. Remember when I said this submission was disqualified because it was luck-based and cryptic? It's neither of those things, and this video is going to prove it. So, I recorded this basically on a live stream. You're going to see me using the speed up key a lot, and the video itself has been sped up twice as much, so that it wastes as little of your time as possible. So, trapped in painful places. Click. So, the start of this chapter, you want to just immediately save all the villagers. Then, from there, the idea is to, recruit everybody as quickly as possible. So we got Florina right there. She's pretty much set to save the villager on the top right. And then from there, you just want to train up Marky Joe so that he gains enough dark magic rank so that he can use the Nosferatu tome, which we're going to be buying from the top right armory. Now, we do need to sell some shit, namely everybody else's fucking inventory, in order to get these things, but once we get that, the chapter is just a matter of tossing Marky Joe into a group of brigands, letting them dogpile him, and watching as he just steamrolls them. Now, that is the only luck-based part of this submission, because, well, there might be, like, one other spot, like, where I got hit by a Killer Lance. But aside from that, so long as Marky Joe hits enough times and, well, just hits enough times, really, he'll gain a shitload of levels, become ridiculously overpowered, and then in the second part of the submission, you can unlock chests that promote him at level 5, which make him even more overpowered. And that pretty much just, like, at that point, you've won the submission. That's what it boils down to. There are a couple things I did during this run that I could have done better. Like, for example, at one point I got rid of Will's heavy spear and gave it to Nino, which I shouldn't have done because there was a knight that was giving me a lot of trouble later down the line. But yeah, as you can see, there's the Marky Joe getting dogpiled by brigands strat. And yeah, the rest of this first part is basically just like waiting for Squall to show up, and Squall does not attack Marky Joe, even though he is totally capable of killing the shit out of him. Mainly because once he spawns on the map, many of the brigands turn into green units, and he's way more fixated on killing them because they're easier to kill. Really, is there anything more I need to say about this map? No, not really. I mean, it's all, like, once you know what you're doing, it's all just about being prepared. Now, I will say that I'm not a fan of how the map is extremely, like, trial and error-y in that sense. Like, for example, being spawned onto the second map, like, without any adjustment to your unit's positioning, occasionally getting them trapped into walls or just, like, in spots where they can't possibly hope to survive is really dumb, and I don't like it. However, I'd like to point out that this submission has a lot, like, I honestly think that this is still one of the better submissions. And I feel like one of the main reasons why I disqualified it at first was like, it took me a really long time to get the videos up, and playing the second part, like, if you don't know how to break the shit out of the second part, it is unbelievably bad. And I also think that the writing in the second part is also not that great too. Like, this whole submission's average quality is brought down by the second part, and I've said this like a million times, but yeah, like, it can't be said enough, really. I think with more care on the second part, this definitely, like, I think this would have been one of the best Ragefest submissions straight up. Hell, I still think, even now, I think it's one of the best Ragefest submissions. Like, what's weird is that, like, yes, it's easy to break once you know what you're doing, but it's still fun to do it. There's, like, a sense of satisfaction from doing it, and this submission has plenty of, like, good writing on the first part, especially the intro, which I think is one of the best intros in all of Ragefest. Yeah. So now I'm gonna destroy the shit out of Squall. Or rather, I'm going to hesitate to do that and let him kill all the enemies and then realize, oh shit, you know, he's not gonna attack me because he's too fixated on the other dudes. What will I do besides attack him while he's too busy to attack me? Yay! And there you go. Yeah, the rest of the unit is just camp places because they basically have no equipment at this point. It's definitely this chapter is definitely like, this is Fire Emblem in a nutshell. You basically take a unit that's really strong, make them even stronger, and then you just win the game. Well, I mean, I don't do that personally, but if you're like a high-level player, if you like to LTC and shit, that's usually the ideal strategy, is to just like do that, and also train up your staff users so that you can warp skip shit. Anyway, yeah. So Titanwood, what do we have to say about him? He doesn't move until several turns later. Oh, and yeah, like the bunnies that we rescued, they crash on this part of the game. I don't know exactly what triggers it, but I think it's if you try to take it from a unit slot, or you just try all sorts of other stuff. It's you just want to drop them as soon as possible, but yeah. So my units get destroyed except for Marky Joe and Captain Squall right there. And then from there, it's just like Marky Joe just keeps getting level ups, and then once we get to the first chest, that's pretty much the point where you've won. Because once Mark promotes, he's just way too overpowered for even like this wyvern that's giving him trouble to handle. Like, the promotion gains are insane. But anyway, back to Titanwood. He doesn't start moving until many turns later. So you have plenty of time to just get this shit set up. And once Marky Joe has enough magic, he can just... and weapon rank, of course. He can use the Revolution, deal a shitload of damage and get a guaranteed crit. And that's the other thing that's luck-based about this, is that that Killer Lance right there. But yeah, like, once Mark is trained enough, he can one-hit kill Titanwood. And then it's just, like, there's no other resistance this chapter can possibly pose at this point. Like, I just get rid of the nuggets because, like, I don't even need them because I have so many Nosferatus. And yeah, it's weird how promoting lowers your HP, but then again, Marky Joe does have an obscene HP growth, so it's all, I think it's an interesting idea to, like, be able to promote many times and then, like, sacrificing one stat to get others. I would like to see that in more Rage Fest submissions. Anyway, Titanwood dies. He doesn't even get to breathe his fire, but he does look insanely creepy. And then Snarky Foe shows up, and he's easy as fuck. just like the other bosses, basically. Yeah, I think this is a good. I think this is a solid submission. It's just part 2. That's it. Part 2 just sucks, and that's it. I would love to see Squall make another submission, though he seemed pretty upset when I didn't receive this submission well initially, so I don't know. Either way, that's the submission. Yeah. Rate, comment, and subscribe.
I need someone to review my FE hack. He needs to be someone who won't cut me slack. It's Marky Joe, he's arrived from his golden chariot, and down he